Hey folks, it's Doodly Squatch here, back with another challenge from Draw Me a Robot, and let's just get started. Here we go. So today's challenge involved making a robot out of an animal, and so I chose a possum, because possums are cool, and I've always liked them. They're cute but scary, which I think is a category I like, where, sure, they look fluffy and cute, but they can also, tear you up if they need to. And for this, I figured I would sketch the whole animal out first, and then go about trying to make a robot out of it without losing its charm, I guess. Yeah, but trying to think of a topic to talk about today. Can't believe I've done more than 20 of these. When I started out the new year, my goal was to make videos and try to do at least one a week, and so far I've been able to do it, and I'm glad. Moderate success. People are always interested if I mention I have a YouTube channel, and some of them might even watch the videos. So hey, whatever. If you're new here, I'm Doodly Squatch. I like to doodle, and I'm big. But I don't know. Recently, my buddy had a birthday party. He and I are the same age. He just turned 40. So I turned 40 earlier this year, and he's always been my sort of deep philosophical subject buddy. We talk about just interesting things, the life, the universe, and everything. To quote The Hitchhiker's Guide, but it was a fun birthday party, because the theme was Memento Mori. Remember that you will die, and on the opposite of that, remember to live. So he had he had a coffin built in his front yard, kind of the old, what you would expect in a Western, that shaped coffin, not a modern coffin. And we all took turns, sitting in it and and taking silly pictures and that sort of stuff. And it was kind of funny, sitting around, and they're talking to him, and they're like, well, what do you want to happen when you die? Or what are your wishes? What that sort of thing. So his idea was he says I'd probably go cremation, and then have my ashes spread in some places I like. And he's a very outdoorsy boy, so he had thoughts of there's a beach in Idaho, or a certain trail he likes, or that sort of thing. And it was interesting, because that got me thinking, what, if any, kind of interesting things would I want to have happen at my funeral, or when I die? And I can't think of a darn thing. Other than I'd be pleased to have my art up for something, golly, so people can actually see it. Yes, I'm known for doodling amongst people, but I don't know, it'd be fun to see it all up in one place for people to see. Yeah, it's funny. I can't think of much. I suck at parties, so why would it be any different for my my funeral? It has been interesting. My dad and my grandpa and I all share the same first name. So when my grandpa's funeral was going on, hearing my name spoken in the past tense a lot in one day was certainly interesting. My dad, he's made his wishes abundantly clear. Every time we go to a funeral, He'll always reach over and thump me in the knee, and he's like, "You remember, graveside service." Yeah, my dad insists. He does not want a bunch of people getting together and telling lies about him. so we'll just gather at his graveside and tell lies about him. It's interesting because it's one of those things where it's kind of like a 1-year-old's birthday party. It's not so much for the 1-year-old; it's for the parents and those that attend. The 1-year-old has no clue what's going on, so in that sense, it kind of feels like the same thing. It's funny talking about that and drawing a possum who, notoriously they like to play dead, which I think is about the funniest defense mechanism, because most things that want to eat you want you to be dead before they eat you, but I don't know. It seems to have worked out for the possum. It's funny seeing videos of people taking care of like baby possums, and they'll be hiding under a enclosure or something like that, and the person has to lift it off, lift the thing up and be like, well, let's check on baby, and they lift it up and baby's like, ha. And just like, oh, baby's dead again, oh man, and they'll just pick him up. It's just funny to see even the littlest possums doing the deal, not quite good at playing dead still. Their eyes will be looking around, that sort of thing. Like, are they buying it? They're not buying it. Oh no. So, and I included some little baby possums on the robot because that's also a fun one when you see a big mama possum with just a pack of little babies on her back, and I don't know. Yeah, just the cute factor. One of my coworkers is very big on possums, so I've done a number of possum commissions for them. Yeah, good times all around. But what else about funerals? What can we talk about with funerals? I don't know. My dad's side of the family, we kind of put the fun in funeral. We've been shushed at many a funeral home, mostly because a lot of our family stories around, family members are just so darn funny. There's just so many just silly things that we get up to, or just, funny anecdotes, that sort of thing. So we end up we're laughing, and the funeral director has to be like, guys, there's other funerals going on in here. You got to shut up a little bit. But it was, I didn't go to a funeral. The first funeral I went to was, I think I was about 14. And that was an interesting one. It was my former scoutmaster had died suddenly of a heart attack, and it was really sad for his family because he was not much older than I am now, which is certainly weird to think about, because he was a very sort of cool, tough, mature dude. Like he was a sheriff in our town, sheriff's deputy, and so always saw him as an authority figure, and just a big, strong dude, and he struggled with heart health and keeping his cholesterol down and that sort of thing. I was vaguely aware of it. We always had turkey bacon when we went on campouts, so that was one of his efforts to cut back on the bad fats. But his death was tragic, I would say, preventable, unfortunately. At least according to his kids, my friend who was my age at the time. It's been interesting to see kind of how that's affected them, in later life, having, a dead dad. And, me getting to know lots of people with all sorts of different situations, with different, different people that are absent, no longer with them, that kind of thing. Phone's going off. And seeing kind of the impact those people had on them, and it makes me wonder, what impacts I've made on people, or what people, not so much what they think of me, but what impressions they've had of me, or what would be missed. I know I'm funny. It's my own certain brand of humor for sure, but I know people find me amusing, at least. So in that sense, I know that at least that'd be missed. It's always interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like to think of myself as like the class clown or anything like that, but I don't know. I can't help but giggle at my own humor. And to some people, that's infectious, and they end up laughing too, anyways. But I don't know. And you, as you get older, you certainly attend more funerals. So it's not like there'll be a shortage of them, for me at least. But yeah, I don't know. It's always interesting to kind of reflect on that, and it's a thing we all have experience in, and that in varying degrees. But for me, it's a good opportunity to at least be of comfort to someone else, even strangers. I don't know. Oftentimes at work, people will be purchasing large amounts of food, and I'll be I've learned to ask wedding or funeral, because you never want to be wrong about that. But yeah, that's all we got. There's my Possum robot for Mr. Draw Me a Robot. Gotta love it. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what's going on with you guys. And I'll try and work it into an episode or something. I love chatting. You got any questions? I don't know. Anywho, that's all.